It is 1486. The King of Naples invites his rival barons to a wedding banquet, then takes them down to meet his other guests. Ferdinand I of Naples, called Ferrante, was the bastard son of Alfonso of Aragon and had clawed his way to the throne in 1458 against barons who refused to accept him. He spent the next 30 years remembering who had voted against him. He was a clever administrator, a patron of the first printing presses in southern Italy, and a host who smiled often. Chroniclers at his court, including the humanist Giovanni Pontano, described his public charm, but his enemies kept disappearing. And in the bowels of Castel Nuovo, the seafront fortress of Naples, Ferrante is said to have kept a private chamber locked away from sight. He called it his museum. Each time the king executed a rival baron or a cardinal who had crossed him, the body, according to Pontano and later writers, was carried down to that chamber. There it was carefully embalmed, dressed in the same robes the man had worn while alive at court, and arranged in a lifelike pose. A bishop knelt as if to bless. A duke stood as if to argue a point. A condottiero, the mercenary general who had fought against the throne, leaned on his sword. The chamber was lit by candles and kept under royal seal. Ferrante took private guests through the gallery the way other princes showed off Roman bronzes. The collection grew through the 1460s and 1470s. By the early 1480s, the museum was running short of empty places along the wall. In 1485, the most powerful nobles in the kingdom organized a serious revolt called the Conspiracy of the Barons. Its leaders were Antonello Sanseverino, Prince of Salerno, Francesco Coppola, Count of Sarno, and the king's own treasurer, Antonello Petrucci. Ferrante negotiated. He smiled. He pardoned in writing and signed his name. In the summer of 1486, he invited the chief conspirators to Castel Nuovo for a wedding banquet to seal the peace. The bride was a young woman of Ferrante's own family, the groom was Coppola's son, and the marriage was advertised as the end of all hostility. The barons came. They drank to the king's health. Then his soldiers slid the doors of the hall shut, and the conspirators were arrested at the wedding table. Pontano sat on the tribunal that condemned them. Coppola, his sons, and Petrucci were beheaded inside Castel Nuovo. The Sanseverino lands were broken up, and the Prince of Salerno fled into French exile. According to the Chronicle, the principal conspirators joined Ferrante's collection. There was room for them now. The king died of natural causes in January 1494, peaceful in his own bed. 2 months later, a French army crossed the Alps under Charles VIII, marched south, and swept his Aragonese dynasty out of Naples within a year. When the French troops broke open the locked chamber, they reported finding a sealed room of robed figures arranged in poses. They burned what was inside. Ferrante had spent 40 years collecting his enemies. The men who broke into his vault did not know who they were burning, so they burned them all together.